welcome to another episode of the Research Spotlight. This is the show where we get to meet and listen to researchers who are doing amazing things in their field. And a warm welcome to our podcast listeners. My name is Tisha, and today I'm excited to be speaking to a lady in a male-dominated field. Yes, it's not every day that we meet a theoretical physicist. And so today we are so privileged to have one here. My guest, Mahumm Ghaffar, is doing her PhD in theoretical particle physics at the Memorial University of Newfoundland, Canada. Prior to this, she did her master's in high energy physics from Quaid-i-Azam University in Pakistan, after which she proceeded to the International Center for Theoretical Physics, ICTP, for a one-year postgraduate diploma in high energy physics. Hello, Mahumm.
Hi, Tisha.
Welcome to the Research Spotlight.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, and thank you so much for joining me here. Yeah. How are you and how is Canada?
I'm good, and Canada is fine. These days it's summer, so yeah, weather is great here.
Yeah, great. Do you remember these beautiful earrings?
Yes, I remember.
So these beautiful earrings were gifts that Mahumm gave me when we were together at ICTP.
Yeah. Lovely days.
I think it's been 6 years or so, and I still rock.
You still have it.
Yeah, wow. Thank you. Yeah. So, Mahumm, how do you feel finding yourself in this male-dominated field, theoretical physics? I mean, I have attempted it before, and I know how difficult it is. So, how do you feel finding yourself in this area?
Okay, to be honest, I think in particle physics especially, the strength of women and men is the same, and lots of women are coming in this field as compared to other fields of physics. So I think it's quite comfortable here. Like if you are doing particle physics, you find a lot of women physicists who are doing research. So it's not like completely male dominating, I guess so.
Oh, okay. So it's good to know that we have women a lot of women going for these things that some of us find very difficult to do. Yeah. So is there any special thing that influenced this career path?
How I get influenced?
What is there any special thing that influenced this career path? Like maybe something happened and you told yourself, oh, I will do theoretical physics, or it has been your childhood dream to be a theoretical physicist?
Oh, okay. So I think if I look back into the past, I was always fascinated by the night sky and stars. So I guess I was in grade 3 or 4 when I decided that, okay, I want to be an astronaut. But when I went to high school, so there I searched at which courses are required to be an astronaut. So then I found that, okay, you need to be good in mathematics and physics if you want to be an astronaut. So I go with these courses. And so when I reached till master's level at university, there unfortunately at that time no courses related to astronomy or cosmology were introduced. So my only option at that time was I studied some courses which were related to particle physics, like quantum mechanics and quantum field theory, etc. So I found, okay, these courses are quite interesting, and because it deals with the particles which were created at the time of Big Bang, so in this way, maybe they are connected to cosmology. So then I started my master's thesis in particle physics, basically.
Wow. And so far, are you enjoying it?
Yes, definitely. I love this field because it's not like pure physics. You have a lot of mathematical calculations to solve. So I like doing that kind of stuff, like solving calculations and yeah.
Wow. So what problems are your research work solving?
Okay, so research work is basically when you started your PhD, but your supervisor firstly gave you some very simple kind of calculations or simple problems which you can easily solve by hand. And these calculations are known as the analytical calculations. So these are very basic calculations. You can easily find them in some undergrad physics books also. So yeah, so once you solve them, then of course the calculations become more and more complicated. So you can't be able to solve them by hand, of course. So in that case, you require some computer programming language to solve those equations for you. So like in my case, I'm doing I'm studying Mathematica, which is again a computer program. So you solve those calculations using that Mathematica program. So that kind of stuff is known as the numerical calculations. So in theoretical physics, you can say there are like analytical calculations and numerical calculations, which usually people do.
Okay, so you are doing both, right? Numerical
Yeah.
and analytical.
But now the focus is main on numerical because, of course, as the field is progressing, there is very little work to do by hand. Of course, the calculations are very complicated. So if somebody wants to join this field, he has to learn some kind of programming language.
Okay, so I think particle physics is quite broad, right? So what are you specializing in?
Yeah, it's so my work is basically on Euler scattering. That is the scattering of electron pair. So basically, you can say I'm working in the scattering of electrons right now.
Wow. And how is it going?
It's going good. Some
Good.
days are like when you are stuck at some point, of course, you are
Yeah,
stuck.
which is
But
normal.
yeah, and of course you get frustrated also that okay, my work is not going on. But then there are when you met with your professor, and of course he gave you some hints. So in this way, you your
Yeah,
work like goes on.
great. So what are some of the challenges that you are going through, or you have been through, or you have gone through as a,
Mhm.
as a researcher? Some of the challenges that you have gone through.
Uh, as a researcher is of course because first of all I need to learn that programming language. That was the main thing. Because in my in my masters I didn't have that experience doing these kind of numerical calculations. So of course I think since 1 year I have been working on Mathematica, learning the Mathematica technique. So yeah, that was I think the most challenging thing which I'm doing right now. Otherwise, there are some courses. Coursework is the same because I did in my master's also and ICTP again. So coursework was not a big challenge for me in
Great.
PhD.
But have you faced any challenge, like as a woman? I mean, challenges that are specific to you as a woman, or
Um,
so
as
far?
a woman, I don't think so. But challenges, I think whether you are a woman or a man, getting a PhD is the most difficult challenge which I faced. Because my journey since till masters and then till getting that ICTP diploma, that was quite very smooth. I finished my high school, I get admission in college. After college, I quickly get admission in university and then ICTP. So after ICTP, I thought, okay, now my CV is good, so maybe I can get PhD position easily.
Is
Yeah, but in reality, it took me 3 to 4 years to get the PhD position. I applied, I think, in Europe, in America, in Brazil, even in Mexico. I don't know, every part of the world I applied and sent
yeah.
my CVs. So because every university has their own standards. Some, especially in USA or Canada, they require GRE. In Pakistan, GRE happens only just once in a year. So when I went back from ICTP, I can't do GRE in that year. It was already, I think, happened a
It's
few months
late.
back. Yeah. And then some universities require me to have my own self-funding. So which, of course, I can't manage. Then yeah, so sometimes it happens that okay, they ask me to have an interview, but then again, and yeah, especially in Europe, they require you to have publications. So
Mhm.
and of course, in particle physics, it's very difficult to get a publication because in masters you just have 1 year research work to do, and usually in that 1 year you do the review work, so you can't do something new. So yeah, that was the loophole in my CV. So that is why I can't get PhD position just right after my masters.
Yeah, but it's good to know that you didn't give up. Though
Yeah.
it took a long time, but you
Um,
kept on pressing, and now this is where you find yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
but I got frustrated, to be honest, because 3 years, of course, you are not doing anything,
Yeah.
and because you are used to doing the work, used to
Mm-hmm.
with your studies, but then there's a break. So after 3 years, which I think, so I got married and in 2018, and I moved with my husband to Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
So there at the National University of Singapore, there was a professor in high energy physics. So I just sent him an email and I got a meeting time. Um, so that professor, he really motivates me, and I asked him that if he has some problem, if he can give me to solve or some kind of research project. So he gave me that research project, and then again, when you started doing your work again, of course, it requires uh, a lot of pressure on you also, that maybe you can't be able to do it again. It's like a large gap. But
Yeah.
yeah, but if there is somebody who helps you, who motivates you, then definitely you can come back anytime,
Yeah.
even if there's a long break.
Yeah, that's good to know, Maham. I'm very proud of you that you didn't give up, and then you also had support, and finally you are doing what you enjoy doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
well done. Yeah. So, what is a day like in the life of a researcher? Like, I mean, I know that it is not something fixed, but typically.
Okay. So yeah, like you said, the day in the life of a researcher, every day is different. So there are some days, like I said, when you got stuck, you have nothing to do. So you are totally free. You can do whatever you want because, of course, you can't do anything. But then there are some days which are quite busy when your work is going on, of course. So you are doing research, you are reading some research articles. Then if there's some conference going on, then maybe either you are attending the lectures in the conference, or sometimes you are presenting yourself in the conference, so you need to prepare all that presentation stuff, or maybe you are presenting some poster there, so of course you need to work on it. um, yeah, that kind of stuff. And in a PhD, you need to do teaching assistantship with your professor or any professor in your department. So when there are like semester is going on, of course you are given some courses which you need to um, like you have to do that leadership. So students are asking you questions, you are checking their assignments, sometimes you are even preparing the quizzes for them. So in that kind of stuff you are busy.
Yeah, and you are also a married woman. And how do you balance all these? How are you able to do all these things?
Yeah, so because my husband is quite supportive, and also he's also in the same field, so he understands what is the day of a researcher. So yeah, he helps me a lot, and all the stuff we manage, like cooking or cleaning the house. So there are duties. Sometimes when I'm busy, he does that kind of stuff, and when of course he is busy, then I do that stuff. So yeah, it's going on very well.
That's sweet. Yeah, great. Yeah, so we know that for a researcher, writing of articles and papers, I mean, in general, are something that's very important. Okay, so can you tell us a bit about that? If you are in the process of publishing, or if you've published already. I mean, anything about articles also, if you have
Yeah,
it.
so I have published around 2 to 3 articles, again, with the work I did with my professor in Singapore. Okay, so when you want to publish something, you need to keep two things in mind. First thing is that, of course, because this is the modern life, everything is you need to do on computers. You can't write stuff by hand on a piece of paper. So usually in physics, we use LaTeX program, LaTeX software basically. So in that software, you need to know how to write your equations. So that thing you need to learn. Then like every publication or every paper has its own style or format. So you need to know where you want to publish uh, your article, because like for example in physics review letters, you are allowed just to write I think 4 to 6 pages. So you can't write a lot about your research work. You need to be very briefly describe your work or your calculations. But then there are some other journals where you can write whatever you want, any pages, any number of pages you can write. So that thing you need to keep in mind. And of course, the format of that paper, like some papers, they have 2 columns, and there's specific style of writing, the bibliography or the like your abstract, such kind of things, references, of course. So you need to be sure in which article you want to publish, in which paper you want to publish your article.
Wow. Thank you. That's very insightful. Yeah. So, Mahumm, you mentioned earlier that for people who are interested in particle physics, they should have some knowledge about programming and then etc. Apart from that, what other qualities should an aspiring researcher possess, specifically people who are interested in particle physics?
Mm-hmm. So I would suggest that if you want to do PhD or research in particle physics, then of course you need to learn the basics of that field. You should have a background in that field. For example, of course, you need to do the masters, or if you don't do the masters, then at least you should learn some courses before starting your research. So I like this thing in United States and even in Canada, because before directly getting involved into your research, you have to complete a coursework. So it depends on in which university you are getting admission. So some universities, the requirement is you have to complete 5 courses. In my university, the requirement is 3 courses. So you should prefer to choose those courses which are related to your field. So in this way, it gives you a lot of help in your research work. And of course, I think in every field, of course, learning computer is the basic thing which you need to do. So it's good if you can learn some programming language. It can be Mathematica, Python, MATLAB, Fortran, C++. A lot of programming languages are available, and I think tutorials are also available on YouTube. So you can watch those tutorials for free, and in this way you can get a little bit knowledge about those programming languages, which will help you a lot in your research work, and also save your time, of course.
Yeah. Thank you. So you mentioned that when you went to Singapore, you had this professor who motivated you a lot, and so do you have other mentors or other people that you look up to, or people who push you?
Yes, I consider all my my professors as my mentors. So starting from my master's thesis professor in Pakistan, then he inspires me a lot. Then of course my ICTP thesis advisor, they inspired me, and I learned a lot of things from them. Then of course that professor in Singapore, Dr. Phil Chen, of course he gave me a great motivation to again renew my physics career. And of course nowadays my professor, my PhD advisor, Dr. Alex, I'm learning a lot of things from him. So every professor in my life, I think I learned something from them. And the person whom I really look up to is Dr. Lisa Randall. She is a well-known physicist. So and because she is a woman, so I'm very much inspired by her. And of course, when I look up to her, so she gives me a motivation that okay, women can be in this field, and of course they can do some great things. Physics.
Wow, that's great. That's great to know, Mahumm. So I know you are not done with your PhD yet, but you're already an inspiration. Okay. Yeah, because you are doing very well. And then, I mean, in this area that some of us are so afraid to venture, you are there, and then you are acing it. Yeah, so you are doing very well. And I want to ask you, do you have, younger ones that you are also mentoring, or are you ready to accept other people who also want to look up to you?
Sure. Why not? In fact, there are some my university fellows. They contacted me either on Facebook or via email if they have any questions like how to get admissions or any question related to research. So it's always my pleasure to to motivate them or to solve their problems. And yes, if anybody he needs some help regarding like research work, or like if they have some questions regarding the admissions. So yeah, I can help them as much as I can.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, because unto all of us win, nobody has won, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing well, and that's great. Yeah. So how do you see the future of research work? Do you see so many women going in that direction?
Yes, like I said, in particle physics, especially, I feel like there are more women in this field as compared to other fields in physics. So I'm, yeah, quite like I'm quite hopeful that there are women who are coming in this field, and in future, of course, more and more girls and women, I'm sure they will join this field.
Yeah, I pray so also, because the future is female, so we can't wait to have
Yeah.
women in these areas. Yeah. Okay, Mahumm. So now I know you're in Canada. Do you have any plans of going back to Pakistan to help with the ongoing research work?
Well, right now I don't have plans to permanently go back to Pakistan. But yeah, whenever I go to Pakistan, even for a visit, then I would like to share my knowledge. And even nowadays, because everything is online, so there are conferences happening online. You can collaborate easily.
Yeah.
You don't need to be in that particular location. So
Mm.
with your, like, with Skype or with Zoom meetings, you can collaborate with people. So yeah, I'm hopeful that in future I will collaborate with Pakistani scientists and physicists whenever I complete my degree. And yeah.
Great. Mahumm, it's been a delight listening to you, your stories, and then all that. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm sure viewers are also very proud of you. I
Thank you
mean,
so
we
much.
are proud of you also. Yeah, and we wish you all the best with the work you are doing, and
Thank you
more
so much.
peace to your elbow. Yeah, so what will be your final words to our viewers?
Okay, so as you know, tomorrow is the Father's Day. So I would like to share a piece of advice which my father used to give me and my siblings when we were young.
Mm.
So he says that don't consider any field inferior. And you don't need to be a PS, like you don't need to be an MBBS doctor or an engineer. But whatever field you want to choose, just stick to that field, and just dig deeper and deeper into that field, and try to get at least a doctorate degree in that field. So I think that would be, uh, I stick to his these words. And
Mhm.
I would like to say to all the aspiring researchers that you people are doing great. Just be patient, because this field requires patience.
Yeah.
And just it's a long journey, as you know. So just keep trying, and yeah, your time will come, and you will shine in your field.
Wow. Take your time, and you are definitely going to shine in your field. That's a
Yeah.
great one, Mahumm. Thank you so much. I have learned a lot from you and from the advice that your dad gave to you.
Thank you so much. It's my
Yeah,
pleasure
and
talking to you.
yeah, and it was nice. I mean, reconnecting with you after 6 years. Yeah,
Yes.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, viewers. And on this note, we wish all fathers and all men happy Father's Day in advance. And today
Yeah.
happens to be my first son's birthday. He's 2 today. So,
Oh, great.
uh,
Happy birthday.
yeah, I wish him a happy birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, and see you in our next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.